Which way, you deadly mob? Welcome back to another episode of ReefCast. We are here with the deadly Auntie Cass. She'll introduce herself in a minute, but we've been waiting for this episode for a long time, since last year. So we're keen to get into it, but without further ado, Auntie, please introduce yourself and who you are and where you're mobbed from.
So I'm Cass Hunter from Kuku Yalanji, so it's up in the Bloomfield Riverway. Also, my grandmother's from Mobiac Island in the Torres Strait. Yep.
Deadly. So we're actually here in Cairns. We just finished a workshop, so I want to pay my respects to the traditional custodians here of Cairns, and we want to just share some journeys with you from Auntie Cass's life. She's lived a great life. She's achieved some amazing things academically, and I guess we're going to learn if she's learned what she's achieved personally. So, Auntie, let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
Childhood. Where'd you grow up? Yeah, where did you grow up and what was it like?
So where I grew up, I was actually born in central Queensland. And you might say, well, how come? So my parents both grew up in Kuranda here, but they left and they went down to the mines basically for employment for my dad to work down that way. So I was born in Emerald, and I spent a little bit of time in a small coal mining town called Glendon, which is outside of Mackay. And then bit by bit, my parents were really big on education. So as soon as my older sister hit high school, it was a big decision for us to leave a small town to come up to Cairns. So we shifted up to Cairns. I went to primary school in Cairns, a bit of it, and then all high school up here in one of the schools based up here in Cairns. So it was good, the childhood, in terms of the township was good for supporting families. There was skating ring, a pool, a bit of stuff to do, but it was also good coming back up. I feel as though Cairns is home base for me, and it's a beautiful place to live and have great time. So that's a bit about my childhood. Yeah. And then
Were you from big? You got a big family? You said you have a sister.
Yeah.
Where do you sit in the family tree?
So in the family tree, I'm the middle.
Ooh.
So I got an older sister and a
You're a
young
troublemaker. Nah, give it
yeah. So in the middle, we're encouraged to go well at school. Yeah. Not everyone in my younger brother didn't go to uni, but the older sister did. So it was I did try at school to go okay.
And through your childhood, was there any defining moments that put you into the interest that you have now? Like, was there something that stands out in your memory?
Yes, there is. So in about grade 5, so where my grandparents live up the hill a little bit in Mariba, and I remember, so Granddad's got a creek that runs through the back part, and us and the cousins would always be in the creek. And I remember saying to another cousin who's actually the same age as me, I said, Christine, when we get older, I want to become a ranger. And she reckoned, yeah, me too. So from grade 5 onwards, I want to be a ranger. Yeah. And so all up through that life, but even a little bit younger, I was always big on the environment. And you know what we did in that place called Glendon is that me and a couple of other mates, we raised money to plant trees in our local park.
Solid.
So from a young age, it was drilled in.
Been an activist.
Oh, the words that I used to say was, I just want to protect the environment. Yeah. Just protect the environment. Yeah, and the way back then was, I felt like planting trees, and just even through high school.
Even to this day.
But even through high school, when I had to do assignments, always based around an environmental-based subject, like climate change or something like that. I don't know how that arose, because I remember asking mates, "Were you big on the environment?" And they said no. I think I just must have had a connection from back then about the environment was something that I wanted to take forward. Yeah.
Do you remember why you were inspired to be a ranger? Because obviously something had to inspire you to be a ranger. Was there someone else who was a ranger?
Good question, and I do.
That's a very young age to know what you want to do,
Well, back then in them days, there was a show on TV and it had Ranger Stacey in it.
Well, I've never heard of it.
Haven't you?
Nah.
It was called Totally Wild, and
totally.
So she was on that. So I think the concept of a ranger was because she was in there with her uniform, and I do wish now, imagine if that was an Indigenous ranger, but back then it was Ranger Stacey. And from straight up, even now when I see rangers with their logo on their uniform, like that It's
Yeah.
just another level.
Especially-
So I think that's how the concept of a ranger was, because it was
Wow.
Ranger Stacey. So I
Ranger
thought,
Stacey.
no, that's it.
You reckon Ranger Stacey's still alive?
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't seen her lately on TV, but possibly.
Ranger
Hey,
Stacey, if you're out there, there's a shout out to you, sis.
yeah, true way.
Nah,
Yeah.
but deadly. But so high school, yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us about. Tell us about high school. Where'd you go to high school?
So I went.
What was that
yeah.
like?
So high school was here in Cairns at a Catholic school. I did try at school. You know what subject I was all right at? Maths. So all great. Yeah, I know. So
I'm
from
bad
grade
at maths.
8 to grade 10, I got A's, and then in grade 11 and 12 it ramped up another level because it was complex reasoning, and my maths mark went down. But I always liked maths.
Yeah.
English for me, I struggled in.
Yeah.
English is I couldn't
Yeah.
write, and I knew it. And you know what I did in high school? I actually asked my mum if I could go to TAFE in Cairns
Wow.
to learn how to improve my English. And
Wow.
so when I went there, I was probably about 15, 16. I went to these TAFE classes, and all full of international students. Did I learn anything? Not really,
Yeah.
because I think I'd missed the boat.
Yeah.
I missed the boat on the fundamentals of it, so I didn't get any better marks by
But-
doing that short course. But I just knew that I had to get better.
Yeah, but you've displayed at a young age that willingness
Yeah.
to want to be successful and be better
Yeah.
and to improve yourself. So
Yeah.
at the age of 15, I was mucking around, riding my push
Yeah.
bike, being silly fella,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So any other defining moments from high school? Because
Oh,
high school leads into
Yeah, okay.
university. So
Yes.
what
So
was the
another-
defining moment?
Another defining moment. So in grade 12 here in Cairns, I was there. I was thinking about doing a science degree to become a ranger. So I can't remember which month it was in grade 12, but a pamphlet got handed out to the school in Cairns advertising these CSIRO cadetships. And so, I had heard of CSIRO before, CSIRO, because of that
Yeah,
show now.
Ranger Stacey.
Ranger Stacey's Totally Wild, so I knew about the organisation. So I decided to put my hat into the ring to apply for it. Because I was always going to do this. A condition was you had to do a science degree, and I was going to do that. So I thought, no, I'm going to put my hat into the ring, and I applied for it. I said that was a defining moment. It was that cadetship process and applying changed my path around what science is, and sort of set me on a bit of a different journey to the ranger path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing that you already knew and like you stuck to that path from that young age to now. So university, talk us to uni. What was the process of choosing university, choosing that degree? Was there anyone did you have mentors? Did you have mentors that inspired you to go to certain universities or to choose those degrees, or was it all just your own?
No, it was all just, I didn't have any mentors. My parents didn't go to uni. I think I was just reading the book myself. I think back then there wasn't too many choices. So you might say, wouldn't you just go to the university in Cairns? But back then it was just one building and science wasn't there. So I had to leave Cairns, but I was okay with that. I think I had other mates that were going down to Brisbane, so we're all G'd up to go down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I just had to look up the degree myself, and I will admit is that in that description it said this degree gives you these paths, and it did say ranger, and there was another path of science, and it said report writing, and back then it wasn't me, so I thought, no, this is, so I sort of just stumbled upon it myself. I applied for that sorrow, and I think it was just me writing it. I'm pretty sure it had potentially some spelling or something. I was there on a typewriter just filling out my application form for that sorrow position. And when I got there, talk about another level of interview. I never sat in an interview like that before, but no, it was a good process.
What was the degree that you went into your undergrad?
Okay, so with undergrad, I went for an environmental science degree, and down in Griffith.
In Goldie?
No, at Nathan campus.
Nathan, Brizzy.
Yeah, Brizzy.
Yep.
What sort of helped, I stayed on campus for the first 6 months just to
Yep.
settle in, and I chose subjects that was maths based, because environmental can have statistics. I chose maths and ecology.
Wow.
So I did a whole lot of maths, stats and ecology, and some water subjects, but
Wow. And what was that feeling going through undergrad? You know, like, were you the
Okay.
first? You said your sister did uni.
Yeah.
Did she go before you?
Yeah, she did accounting. So I think
Okay.
that maths line comes
Yeah.
through. So she did
Yeah.
accounting here in Cairns. So
Was there any pros and cons or challenges through your undergrad that would really stand out to you, and how'd you overcome them?
the challenges were my English.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did all right with math subjects. When it come for English,
Yeah.
I really did struggle to write and just even get proper sentence structures, and yeah, I probably just pass. I got passes,
Yeah.
but I'll probably.
And what was that key thing that helped you get through it? You know.
Okay.
A lot of people just give up when things are hard. You know. You've shown resilience and perseverance.
Yeah.
So
So
any techniques you used?
so it's just practice and being
Yeah.
willing. Yeah, I'll talk about a little bit. Is that willing to, when you get the red pens through your work, or if you come back, back there, no one really read your work, because I mentioned I applied for that cadetship. I applied, I got it, so I was a cadet with CSIRO. So through that process and have mentors in the organisation, that changed things as well, because then I could actually get people to read over my work and give me advice. Otherwise, it was just me trying to try my best, but it wasn't until I actually had mentors that had the skills to write then but still it's, like it is a little bit when you get the red pen through your stuff that your heart sinks a little bit, but I
Yeah.
suppose that's a part of the process.
Yeah.
And
Just makes you push a bit harder, you know.
Yep.
So you finished your undergrad. What did you do after your undergrad? Yeah. What did you study next? Where did you focus?
So I finished the undergrad, so did the 3-year degree,
Yeah.
and so what shaped it next was, should I do an honours? Should I stay with the organisation, or should I become a ranger? It was still always in my thinking.
Yeah.
And so you know what I decided to do? I decided to do one more year of study and honours, just to learn more,
Yeah.
just to push it. And I was probably starting to understand a little bit more around science. But you're gonna laugh that when I got that science degree, I used to say, how come I don't feel like a scientist? How come I got this degree?
Didn't have the white coat.
Yeah,
though, right?
I didn't come out thinking, I'm like, yeah, I've got it. But so you know what? The first time I ever felt like now I understand it was when I did the honours and I started to collect some information, ask my own questions. I'm like, I'm actually applying it. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I understand when it was all theory and I was sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm just learning. But we had some subjects, but I still wasn't getting it. But then I'm like, now I'm starting to understand what this is about, and I'm testing myself a little bit more. So did the honours, and then a little bit starting to understand a bit more about the science.
And then your greatest achievement that I think professionally, or I don't know, this is my opinion, but your PhD.
Yeah.
Talk us through that whole process of decision making, the effort, all the trials and tribulations you would have had, and what did you study in your PhD?
Yeah, okay. No, So I'll try and step you through the process and hang in there, because
we're ready. We've been waiting for this moment.
Yes. Okay.
I've got the PhD at home. It's massive.
So I did the honours. It didn't quite go to plan, this honours. It ended up being a lot harder than what I thought, because you have to collect information. I didn't collect enough. I didn't get the top marks for honours. I got down here and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is pretty hard. It's another level. But I was big on challenges, and the word PhD got mentioned. I'm like, true, it was never in my radar. What's this about? But I actually did the pros and cons to it. So there's a bit of decision making involved. Was I ready to take it's meant to be a 3 years. I'll talk to you about so it's meant to be a 3-year commitment. Mine took, at the end of the day, over 6 years to complete, and I'll tell you why a bit later. So I knew it was going to be a 3-year. I knew it was hard because you got to rely on a lot of things coming together. Supervisors, the right topic, you got to be interested, you got to carry it through. And also was making it a little bit more harder is that they were talking about to do a PhD, it's all about your supervision, your topic, And so I had to leave Brisbane to go down to either Hobart or Perth. And so I was lucky in the lead up, I went to Perth through work and I went to the universities. You know what, my family was in Perth, my mum was in the mines, my brother, but in the end I chose Hobart because I just wanted, I thought, no, good supervisors, and they were in Perth too, but I thought, no, I'll go Hobart. So off I went. Yeah, so I did think about it. It wasn't a rush process. I tried to get really good supervisors. I thought about the topic, and you asked me what the topic was.
Yeah.
So the topic, I worked in the marine space, but the topic was a fisheries, and down in Tassie they've got a key fishery, the Tasmanian rock lobster fishery.
Wow.
So I was going down there to work in one of the, really good fishery space, good supervisors. So my topic was on studying Tasmanian rock lobster, how they enter fish traps and what's their behavioural dynamics inside these fish traps and other species. So it was good learning. But so I went down there. In the first week we struggled to get accommodation, and it was summertime, and there I was in a jumper. And we couldn't find a place, and you know what?
Is that cold?
It's that cold, and I had my first breakdown of tears after a weekend, thinking, what have we done? Can't find a place, it's cold. I was like, but anyway, so I thought, nah, here. So off this PhD journey went. So within the first year of it, you're always encouraged in the science space to get out there and promote what you do. So I had to give my first conference talk. Me in public speaking. It was, me in public speaking, no good, but you know what, I thought, have to do it. Had to get out there, okay?
Yeah.
So you know, back then, for me to get up in a public space and to talk, I had to practice that talk about 30 times, and I had to learn it word for word. Word for word, it's every slide that come up, I would know exactly in my head what I'm gonna say, because it's all repetition. In that talk, at the last minute, supervisor said, can you please add this slide in, and you need to talk about it. And I thought, okay, I'll chuck it in. And I thought, I'm going to test myself. When I get to this slide, I just have to talk when I see it. So this talking, and again, so nervous, word for word, it was all going all right. Looked up this slide, and I just froze.
No, you don't.
I froze.
Why? Was it the slide?
Because I didn't have my words, because it didn't come word for word. I always thought I could put myself under pressure and be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
I got there and I froze, and the audience was dead quiet.
I don't mean to laugh, but that would have just been like,
I don't know.
Because knowing you now, like, I know you can do it, but like that feeling, eh?
Yes, that feeling.
That emptiness, that quietness.
Yes, that quietness.
What happened after? Did you bounce back?
You know what? I blubbered something to the slide. I just blubbered. I don't even know what I said. Blubbered, it quickly went to the next, and then I'm like, okay, I've got my words now, it's coming back.
Yeah.
But it was embarrassing. So I got down off that podium, and it was embarrassing because there were so many other PhD students there. My supervisor was in the crowd. Yeah. My partner just come just to watch, got off this podium. I went to my partner, and another crying. You're going to say, you cry so much. I'll tell you, in that PhD, I probably could have taken the company out that had the tissues. I just rode this wave of but the biggest waves were the public speaking. Yeah. The biggest waves was when I really questioned, is this really for me? Yep. Like, if I'm struggling that much, why am I sticking at it? But
and what was that? What was that drive that kept you going? When you asked that?
The drive that kept me going was, I can do it if I stick at it. Yeah. And the other drive was, if you can you finish something that you started? I signed myself up. How come I was all excited from the beginning to do it, and when it got hard, is this what you have to do? Stick it out. And so, you know, I was invested in it. Yep. But don't worry, I had days where I questioned if research was really for me. I had other professions lined up, and guess what? I was thinking random things like being an electrician because,
hey, look
I was thinking random things because I will also stay in this space. It's a little bit isolating.
Yeah,
So there I
it
was
is.
doing my project.
Yep.
Oh, it felt, but I was so isolated. And you know
Yeah.
what? My dad's an electrician, and he's got, he's with the crew. They have lunch breaks together, and that's what appealed to me. And I
Just
can
you and your
switch off,
books.
just me and my books, and it carried everywhere with me. The
Yeah.
PhD, I worked that many weekends. It was always in my mind. I was always thinking about it. And I said it's meant to take 3 years. I took 6 because I probably wasn't that smart. For me, I just wanted to learn. Yeah, okay, if you say do that, I'll do that. But then I got to write it up. So I took on too much, and then I had this biggest hurdle to get across the line. You know what even made it more harder? Was the scholarship only goes for 3. So the last I was on, I had not. I was on myself. I was relying on my other half to support me in the last couple of years, and so the money had run out.
What a great man.
I left. So I did 4 years in Hobart, come back, and then eventually we come back to Cairns to live with my dad because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And so there I was, trying to push this over. I actually spent time at the libraries in Cairns and at JCU just to be surrounded by people because I was that isolated that I just wanted to be amongst.
Yeah, you wanted to be a part of it.
But I felt like the biggest thing, rocking up to this library and just trying to self-motivate myself to get this thing done. So it was the hardest thing that I have ever done to just try to get this thing across the line of just proper grind.
But you're grateful for it though, eh? You're grateful you did it?
I'm great. Okay, I'm grateful I did it because once you push yourself and you test yourself and you say yourself, this is what Cass Hunter can, this is what, it's self-testing. And when I look back after and it's handed in, it is because, you know what that saying is? No pain, no gain.
Yeah.
So you have to put, because you pushed yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
I had to push. Yeah, I grew from it. Even though it was so hard, I grew because I had to. I pushed it, and then I had to get across the line. So it wasn't the biggest. I learned a lot, and I am grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I am really grateful for the learning and the, So.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to know, like, what's some motivating words to, if another young Indigenous woman was looking at this podcast to think, well, how can they take the same journey you did, and what are some tips going into academics? Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with being that ranger, but also you can be a scientist too.
Yeah.
What's some advice that you'd have for that?
Yeah, I do really reckon if your interest is there, like I don't want to, so, but okay, if your interest is there in the science path or the ranger, I don't want, so, but sometimes you might say, maybe explore options, because I think, for me, for science, it's because the opportunity opened. So some would say that sometimes you need to chase opportunities and sometimes it falls in your lap. So if you can, maybe if there's ways to explore different things, that's why you know if it's ready for you.
Yeah.
And maybe, if I would have said was research, now I really think science and research is for me. If you would have asked me halfway through that PhD, I would have said a totally different thing. But because I come to the other side, now I can say that it was worth it. So explore your options. And I do really think that at the end of the day, all I kept saying to myself all the way through, because just try your best. That's all you can. Through high school, I never got straight A's, but even through the PhD, I was this, and it took six years. But that's my path, and I'm okay with that. I think at the end of the day, that was meant to be my journey. That 6 years was meant to be me, and I took myself on that path. So, but I do think try your best, and that's all. And don't. Yeah, you're gonna sometimes have a bit of self-doubt, not a bit, sometimes a lot of self-doubt, and that's when you draw on your mentors. I had days, call people up, and they didn't realise, just hearing their voice,
Yep.
that settled me down, because they're the people that, it's just like, hey, And I think it got me back on the path. So you're going to have days where you go down, talk to someone. Sometimes, you might say your family, but sometimes your family don't know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah.
But sometimes you might need that person in the field, or someone that you just know that you can talk to. So I'm very lucky that I had mentors like that, where I just about to ring up, and I will say they kept me, not only my partner, but the mentors, they helped me to get to where, just for that reason. So
And it's like a massive emotional roller coaster.
Yes.
Like I can hear it, see it in your.
Oh, can you?
Yeah,
I can.
You know, you're taking us on that journey of like the emotions, but it's the reward. The reward for it is better, because you've emerged into this amazing leader that I really look up to as a leader, because and I'm not just saying that just because we've been working, like your story of perseverance and against all odds, the lone wolf scenario type thing, like. As Aboriginal people, we're kind of isolated as well.
Yeah.
So it shines through people like yourself.
Yeah.
That resilience that we talk about, of our old people.
Yeah.
It shines through you as an individual to not just give up, but to to take the hits and keep going. To be comfortable with being uncomfortable, going to Western Australia, going to Hobart.
Yeah.
All that there are the pieces that makes a great leader. Someone that I would follow. And man, well, we'll get off the PhD, we'll get off the academic, because I want to talk about country.
Yeah.
Tell us about your country. Whereabouts is your country located there, and what's so beautiful about your sea country there?
So my sea country is up in the Daintree, so up in the Bloomfield River. And why that's so beautiful, World Heritage there. So on this side I say, World Heritage Rainforest, and that side World Heritage Reef, Great Barrier Reef there. How good that in
2 for 1.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Two
Hey,
for
2
one.
for 1. And up in the Straits too, in maybe ag, like the reef follows up there. So that is country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's sea country mean to you?
Sea country means to me learning. It means a lot of things. It means, as I said, the word protection comes through. Protect sea country. Well, now, care for sea country. Be part of the sea country conversation. Like we work it's just another level in terms of sea country. We work in the space of reef and in changing ways in sea country, and bringing individual people along that sea country journey.
Yep. And could you expand on why learning from country? What's important? Why is it important to learn from country?
I'm looking out this way because there's stories there's stories all through there, in terms of nature, in terms of connections, in terms of food chains, in terms of that's the learning there for me, in terms of the life and the connections. And
my mentor, Mel, always told me, country's our first teacher. Everything we need to know lies in country. We just have to look, listen, and hear and feel. But anyway, we'll come to a close. But every guest we like to ask the question is, if you had one message for the world, what would that message be? And we always ask our guests to look down the lens of the camera, because this is your message to the world. We're bringing Trish voices through a cultural lens to not just the people in the reef, but people all around the world, because we're all connected by water. What's that message?
My message to the world is, and it's actually tattooed on my foot.
Oh.
It's the word spirit. Is that within each of all of us, we've got our own spirit, we've got our own connection, we've got our own journey, and all our spirits are linked up in terms of the spirits out there, in terms of our own individual. So the message to the world is, you share your spirit.
Yeah.
You link it up, and the spirit's within you.
Yeah.
Your spirit is within you. You take your own personal journey. Yeah, where you go. So individuals find their spirit and they share it, and that's
We just got a big drongo here.
yeah.
Get out of here! Here! Yeah, we're gonna throw a boomerang at you. Get away! Yep. Get away. They're going slow. Jeez. Big helicopter, eh? But yeah, sorry. So yeah, it's a spirit.
But you and just to give a little bit more context,
Yeah.
because this spirit is also another connection, because one day after the PhD, I wanted to get words to say this.
Yeah.
What was all that experience about? What was that about? To me,
Spirit.
it's spirit. It's you. You go on.
Yeah.
I wanted a memory to say this was the biggest
Wow.
learning about yourself and your place in the world.
Yeah.
That's
spirit.
That's spirit.
Too deadly.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Auntie. Give me a hug. Oh, love it, dog. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Guys, we want to thank you for joining us for this deadly episode with Auntie Cass Hunter here. You can check her profiles out, I guess. She's got Google up her name there. She,
Nothing there. Yeah.
Nah, nothing there. Nah, don't. But look, hey, please make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Instagram. We got a TikTok. Guys, we're going to be chucking stuff up on a podcast and all the other busy whatnot stuff that I don't know anything about, but my boy behind the camera does. So guys, once again, thank you for joining us on ReefCast. Catch you next time. Yo.